I'd like to start off this video by acknowledging that there is a cat sitting right here, and I can't get her to leave because she just keeps coming back, so there will be a cat in frame. Anyway, this video is kind of gonna be like an IRL house update, but also like designing a room in The Sims kind of thing. Just so we're on the same page, I bought a house recently. We've been renovating, and they finally started painting, which is very exciting because it's starting to look like a house again. I've made a couple videos like doing this whole designing my house in The Sims series. It's mostly just for me to talk through what kind of furniture I want to buy, but I can link those videos down below if you want to see them. And today I want to try and design my guest bedroom in The Sims. I realize guest bedroom like sounds kind of boring, but it's like my favorite room in the house. It gets really good light, and we also painted it pink. I did post this picture of the room on Twitter because I was very excited about it, but this is what the room looks like. Obviously there's currently no floors. They're just painting first and then putting the floors in. There will be floors, okay? They won't look like this. This is another photo, same angle, just, you know, different day. In this one, different tools on the floor. They were messing with some tile in the bathroom, that's why that's all there. Now, I personally love this color. I'm like obsessed with it. It's kind of a dusty, rosy pink. It is exactly what I wanted. It fits my vision perfectly, but I was there the day they were painting it, and the painter said it looked like Pepto-Bismol. Oh my God, the tornado sirens are going off. I just had like a, wait a minute, should I leave? No, it's just the first Saturday of the month at noon, so they're testing them. So I had like a whole thing just now. It's fine, it's 12 p.m. They're just testing them. Anyway, I was there the other day when the painter was painting it, and he was calling it the Pepto-Bismol room. First of all, it does not look like Pepto-Bismol. This is like bubblegum hot pink. Look, it's a good joke, a great joke even, but Mr. Painter, if you're watching this, hopefully you'll soon understand my vision. I do have a vision. One of the other guys working on the house did tell me that he watched the video that I made working on my bedroom, so this video is me just clearing my name with Mr. Pepto-Bismol, apparently. No, but the real video is me trying to show you my vision for this pink room, because I know I posted a picture on Twitter and a lot of you were asking, so let me just turn to The Sims to walk you through this. So the bedroom is kind of a weird shape. Well, it's a square, it's not a weird shape, but there are a lot of doors in this room, which is part of the problem with like figuring out a layout for furniture. So there's a little closet over here. Maybe the room's too big. Hang on, better. Anyway, there's a closet right here. It's got doors into it. They're white and they are not glass, but these are a appropriate size, so I'm gonna use these to fill in, okay? They also swing open. Most of the houses that I've ever lived in had like sliding doors in closets or like bifold doors. The doors in this closet are kind of like these, like they're two doors that swing open. So it's kind of wide, and you also have to worry about like the swing of the door when it comes to placing furniture. The door to the actual room is right there. It does have an ensuite bathroom, which is really nice and I think good for a guest room. And then it also has this room, actually quite a large room to be honest with you, like a room in the eaves of the house, like fully can walk into the room. You have to like step down into it. I think you can kind of see it back there, but there's like legit a room with a window in this area. Not sure what to do with her, but there is a door to it right there. The closet is like right here, and then the bathroom is like right there. You can kind of see like all this stuff is like right where the bathroom is. Honestly, the doors are like really in the corner there. I feel like this room should be like half a tile smaller. I know I'm being like so nitpicky about the size, but it's always so weird where like you're trying to recreate it, but the scale is off. It's so weird. Anyway, this is pretty much the shape of the room. What would happen if I made it smaller? Now it needs to be a half a tile bigger. Oh, whatever. We go through this like every single time. I have this like internal debate about the size of the bedrooms. Anyway, this room gets great light. This faces the backyard. It's actually directly above my bedroom. Like I made that video showing off my like main bedroom where I'm gonna sleep. This room is above it. It has very similar windows. It's just a little bit smaller like in size. I think you can also see there is currently no light in this room. We are gonna put a ceiling light in. There's just not one right now. I haven't actually picked the ceiling light yet, but I think I'm gonna put a ceiling fan with a light because it's gonna be a bedroom and like people are going to sleep in it. It probably makes the most sense to put a ceiling fan. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of how fans look, but I live in Florida, so you win some, you lose some. And I think this one probably needs a fan. Do you know what? I don't love how any of the fans in the game look either. I definitely wouldn't pick one that looks like this. I think I'd be more likely to pick one that looks like this. I've never had the opportunity to pick my own ceiling fan before. Like I've always just had the one that like came in the house, you know? Oh, should I show you mine? Oh, I'm a little embarrassed. It looks dirty in the picture. Also, you're gonna see, this is embarrassing. Hang on. This is the light in this room. Couple things of note. It looks very yellow and dirty. Please don't judge me for that. Also, one of the thingies that you pull like to turn the light on, it's stuck in the base of it. That's because I went to put a blanket on myself and I kind of like swung it up over myself and the blanket like flung up and it knocked the string into the light. I also don't turn this fan on because it makes a noise. It like, I don't know, shakes or something. It makes a noise, so I can't turn it on because you can hear it in my videos. But like, it's not offensively ugly or anything. This is just normal to me. Like all of the houses I've ever lived in had stuff like this as the lights in the bedrooms and the living room, to be honest. So this is like very normal. I just probably wouldn't pick like this wood color and stuff if I was gonna buy a new one, but I don't really know. I haven't really given much thought to what the fan's gonna look like. Moral of the story, I'm not sure. It will have a light on it though, so it'll be something like that. You get it. Okay, and then as far as wood floors go, we have had this same discussion every single time I make one of these videos showing off my real life house. The wood floors, they're not in the game. The color that I picked does not exist. Honestly, this color, kind of close. This is the actual wood floor. This is a sample of it, so it'll look like that. It's just not in yet because they're still painting and, you know, trampling around and stuff. They're meant to do that soon though, which is kind of fun. Anyway, then comes the question of like, where do you put the bed? The people before us also had this room as a guest room, and they had the bed right here. They had just one nightstand like next to it right there. Oh, this room is too big. The Sims version is too big. The bed's gonna take up like the whole room when we put it in, but it's fine. You get it. You get what we're going for. Anyway, they had the bed like right here with just one nightstand. I was thinking about putting the bed over here. My idea was to put the bed like this, also with just one nightstand, but like there. I think in real life, it's gonna end up being a little bit closer to the door. Like I think it'll probably be like that size. It'll look more like that. But that was kind of my thought process for the layout of the room instead. And then I kind of liked the idea of putting a dresser right here. Previously, they had it kind of opposite, like dresser over here and the bed like that. Again, I'm not really certain what the best thing to do is. I also haven't bought any furniture yet, so I can still change my mind. But at the moment, I'm kind of thinking I'll do it like this. We'll get some pretty curtains and stuff, you know. Okay, but like furniture and decor wise, the fun part, the vibe of this room that I'm going for is like kind of granny-ish, like a pink grandma's room, very traditional, but like a little bit chic. I don't know. That sounds ridiculous, but basically I saw this bed and I was like, oh my God, that is beautiful. I want it very badly. And we can fit a queen bed in the room. The only problem is, number one, I don't love that the color is called indigo. Like it's blue. I don't want that. Also, it's $2,000. Like, I'm sorry, that's not happening. I'm not buying a $2,000 Anthropology bed for the guest room. But like, this is kind of the vibes that I'm going for. I kind of like the fancy frame to it, but then like even a metal bed frame kind of fits the vibes that I'm going for. And this one, for example, is $200 instead of $2,000, which in my opinion is a lot more appropriate. Like honestly, this IKEA picture, kind of the vibes, except mine's not dark. Mine's gonna be pink. But I like the pattern bedspread and like the frames, the sort of antique looking frames. That's kind of what I'm going for. Well, actually, this is the kind of duvet cover I was thinking about getting. This is not really similar at all to that IKEA one, but you get it. Like I like the dainty flowers, the little patterns. Oh my God, this one has strawberries. Now that is something to think about for sure. Okay, well, I'm not buying anything yet. We can revisit the strawberry idea, but hopefully that gets my point across though, like kind of what I'm going for with this. I guess, you know what? I probably should make the room a little bit smaller because I feel like this is gonna lead you to believe we're gonna have a lot more room for furniture than we actually will, because there's not gonna be a lot of extra space that we're gonna need to find furniture for. It'll be a little bit bigger than this, like it's gonna have walking space, but it's just not a huge room. Like it's not gonna be a big wide open area. This makes more sense. I guess you can kind of see in this picture, like the bed would be here. I left my notebook with like wall measurements downstairs, but there's not space for a bed and two nightstands basically on this wall. I know it's kind of hard to tell scale from like just one picture, but this is a bed and one nightstand kind of wall. And I don't want the bed to be like in the corner of the room. I'd rather it be floating because then it's easier to get in on both sides. So I think this layout makes sense, although I will not have furniture like this. That won't be happening. Honestly, color-wise, that kind of looks like the right color. Like that's kind of a color match. This might be like leaning a little bit more pink and this is a little bit darker, but that's kind of the right color. Oh my God, did I figure out the whole vibes of this room from this bed? Have I been secretly like envisioning the cottage living bed as being the one in here? I probably wouldn't put the blue like sheets there, but like I'm picturing a lighter colored duvet cover with like honestly flowers like that. Maybe that's been my vision all along. Oh no. I like it though. It looks good. I'm not really sure what kind of nightstand. I don't really vibe with like any of the nightstands in The Sims 4, to be honest, but we'd get something kind of cute. It'd be a little bit smaller than that probably. Honestly, size it down. Oh, it's so hard to picture when you're just doing it in The Sims. Keeping in mind, right, that the previous owners had theirs like this and it didn't seem too tight. And like those walls are pretty much the same size. They might even be the exact same size. So I've been in a room that was shaped like this. It was just flipped a little bit and it was fine. Like I didn't think it felt too small or anything. So I think it should be okay. Obviously, when I actually buy a bed, I will measure Like, I'm not just gonna buy something and hope it fits. Just so we're clear, I'm not gonna do that. Right now, we're just hypothesizing with The Sims 4. So it's fake. It's just a game. Anyway, we'll get like a little dresser right there probably. We can do some curtains on the wall. And then there's not really a lot of space for other furniture. I think I'd probably put like a pretty round mirror above this. I don't love any of the mirrors in The Sims. None of them are like the vibes. They're all too high and like not the right size, but I'd probably put like a really pretty round mirror above the dresser. Maybe like gold or something, I'm not sure. Like a kind of antique-y looking gold. Should I put this yellow one with flowers to get the point across? And then I don't know, we'd get some kind of cute plants and stuff. I'm not really sure what kind of plants, but maybe like a plant and a candle or something. That's cute. I know I kind of talked about the picture frames I was picturing, but I sort of like the idea of like brassy gold frames. Maybe something more along the lines of like that color. But like, I don't know, we could get like a few small ones and organize some sort of little gallery wall above the bed somehow. Very hard to pull off in The Sims. Our options are limited and they are not the vibes. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not putting a picture of a car on the wall of this room, but you get it. I think that kind of gets the point across. I'm not sure if I would have them centered on the wall or above the bed. Looking at it, it kind of looks weird, like off-centered, but again, we could figure that out once we actually had a bed. Like, there currently is nothing in the room, so we're just talking out ideas. And then honestly, like some sort of pretty lamp. Again, we face the problem of me not liking most of the lamps that we have in The Sims 4. Oh, and you know, the lamp floating because the nightstand is sized down. Oh, good. Are there any better colors that aren't like plains? How about the horse? I'd probably want to put a rug in there too, but I'm not sure what size. Probably something small like that. Honestly, the tassels are kind of cute. Like, I might pick something like that too. I'd want it to be a little bit daintier though. Like, the pattern wouldn't be something like that. Maybe the pattern could be something like this. I'm not sure how much mixing of patterns I want to do. We'll have to think about it once I actually start shopping for furniture, but the point of this video is mostly just to figure out like where do I want to put things. And you know what else? Okay, this room is way smaller than this. Not the same size as that room, but there is like honestly like a decent sized room that is like off of this. They were using it as storage before. We're gonna put like, you know, paint. They were using it as storage before. I'll probably do something similar. I don't really know, but it is definitely an interesting like idea that there is this room right here. And it has a window. And I guess this room, it does have a bathroom on it. The room's kind of shaped like, you know, it's actually quite small. The bathroom's kind of shaped like this. It's kind of like that. I put this sink here because it's got a cabinet. But it's kind of like that, the bathroom. It's not this fancy. It's just like a regular plain cabinet. But why don't we have anything like that in The Sims? Why are like all of the sinks like this so fancy seeming? Doesn't that seem fancy to you? Well, we're gonna paint the cabinet gray, so the color kind of works. It's like a bluish gray. I'm also gonna buy a new mirror for this, but I haven't picked anything out yet. It's a simple bathroom. I have thought about putting up wallpaper in here, but that might be a project for a future Simsie. That's not a concern right now, really. I'm more worried about the downstairs at the moment, you know? But I have thought about putting up like some sort of pretty wallpaper. Honestly, even like this wallpaper, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like kind of a subtle patterned wallpaper. Oh, the shower is like all the way tile. It has like tile like that. Why are none of the colors what I'm going for? But I do like the idea of putting up some sort of wallpaper in here. It could be kind of cute. Maybe someday we can venture into that. It's just not a priority right now. I'd rather focus on my own bathroom, you know? We can get to the guest bathroom in a few years or something. But anyway, that's kind of my vision for the room. I really, really, really like the pink. Every time I go to the house and I see it, I'm like, oh my god, it's pink. I'm so excited. Hang on, I'm sorry. This is bothering me. I need to change the doors. I've got to make them look more normal. Anyway, I love the pink. I don't even care if it looks like Pepto-Bismol. It's fine. It makes me happy and that's all that matters, right? Oh my god, can I show you something like actually disgusting though? So for some context, there used to be intercoms in this house. They didn't work, but there was like an intercom system. There's one right here actually. Let me see if I can find something that is similar to it. I mean, picture like there's like a thing right there. I tweeted a picture so I can show you. This one is from downstairs, but like it was one of these. They were in like a lot of the bedrooms. And there was also one on the back patio. I'm not kidding. This is like a gross lizard trigger warning. Okay. So when they took the intercom off the wall, there were a significant number of eggs behind it. Eggs! Like a significant number of eggs in the wall behind the intercom. There are eggs in my wall. Oh my god. When I went over to the house yesterday and I saw these for the first time, it shocked me, truly. Look, I live in Florida. We've got lots of little creepy crawly critters. Like, I'm used to lizards. I'm pretty sure these are lizard eggs. They're definitely not snake eggs. Snake eggs are like weird and slimy and like squishy. They're not like this. These eggs are also like about the size of my fingernail. They're smaller than my thumbnail. They're more like my index fingernail, basically. And they were behind the intercom in the wall. So I think the lizard like slithered its little way into the intercom and then laid its eggs back there. I Again, there are grosser things that could be there, but like all of these eggs, there are so many eggs. I've seen lizard eggs before, but like only ever buried in the ground, like in the dirt. I've never just seen them sitting like this. So these look like really weird and clean compared to what I normally see. So I did post a picture. I said, please, I am coming to you in distress. I need to know what kind of eggs are in my wall. I just needed some reassurance that they were not anything creepy crawly, okay? And I'm like pretty certain they're just gecko eggs. I'm picturing like one of these little buddies, and I'm okay with these little buddies. I will say they're a little bit freaky. They're like kind of transparent, but he's just a little buddy. He's cute, he's small. They hang out, they won't hurt you. So I'm okay with him living in my walls. Anything else though, not invited. I'm sorry, I did not sign up for all of those roommates. And you know what? In a cruel like twist of the universe, when I was leaving the house yesterday, keeping in mind, leaving the house right after I had seen these eggs in my wall for the first time, I knew in my heart they were not snake eggs. But as I was leaving my house, what slithers across my front walkway? A tiny baby snake. Like a little itty bitty tiny baby snake. But he slithers across my little sidewalk when I'm going back to my car. Mr. Snake, you are a comedian. Because here I am, like posting this dramatic tweet, like what kind of eggs are in my wall? And then a baby snake comes out of nowhere. Turn this video off, by the way, if you don't vibe with snakes. Like I'm done talking about the Sims. I'm gonna leave the video soon, so you're fine. You won't miss anything. I'm going to show you a video of my baby snake. So like seriously leave if you don't want to see it. No. Anyway, he was an itty bitty little tiny baby snake, but come on, the timing of that, like after this whole egg incident, you show up. I'm trying really hard to not be bothered by the baby snake. I realize I live in Florida. There are snakes everywhere. I don't think I'm scared of snakes. Honestly, he's kind of cute, but like, it's a snake. Snakes are so weird. Why do they move like that? The way he's like, whoa, it's gross. It's gross. Anyway, that is my house update for you. I'm gonna post a more in-depth video, like showing you everything again soon, like probably this week, but this video was easier to make and I wanted to talk about my eggs, so here we are. And if you liked this video, I made one doing my kitchen, my bedroom, and my office already, so I can link those for you at the end of the video here. And with that being said, I guess I'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye everybody. You know, I didn't expect my day would end up with me showing you my baby snake on camera, but the more I think about him, the more I kind of like him. He really is very cute and small, isn't he? Should we like name the snake? Is he like part of the family now or something? I guess I live with him, so I may as well be on good terms.